Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the fabulous Las Vegas Strip here in the beating heart of Nevada. We're broadcasting to you live from the Pocono studio at the Aria Resort and Casino, and we're ready to jump into the VPL Fantasy All-Stars week number 4. We've already had 3 weekends of action, and we're about to round things out here in our 4th. You can see we've got all of our captains joining us once again as we head on into things. We've got one returning face and a few fresh faces. We'll introduce those in a second. My name is Munchballs, and I'm joined as always by Tasty Bacon.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. I mean, Tribe Week last week was intense. We'll see if these guys can live up to that level of excitement when it comes time to the draft and, of course, the games tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also going to be joined this week by Livian over on the far side of the set. First foray into esports. Welcome, and it's great to have you.
Thank you so much, Joe. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super excited to see how everything plays out. Good luck to the players.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, guys. And speaking of our players, let's have some intros over here. We've got Hammy, Shaded Talent, Iraqi Zorro, and Outplayed as well. I'm going to start over with you, Hammy. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Hammy. Currently, I don't really have a role or a team, so I'm just kind of, playing Vainglory. But I did previously played for Rogue and TSM. We did pretty well. Recently, got second at West G. So yeah.
Likewise, I was on a team with Tammy, so second at West G. I played captain, no longer on a team at the moment, but gotta represent our old roster though. That's up, there we go. Yeah.
All right, hi guys, I'm Iraqi Zorro. I've been competing in Vainglory for a very long time, and yeah, I'm very excited to be here with these guys, and we'll play it out here.
All right, I'm sure everyone here knows me, but I'm Louis Vuitton Don, pretty new to the competitive scene, I guess. Also Outplayed XD is apparently the username I'm going by. But I've been in Vainglory for a while. I was under Rogue, used to play with Hammy in 3v3 with the Dons, but
not sure
yeah,
if
I'm excited to be here.
All right, well, we'll stick with Outplayed for today since that's your in-game username.
Yeah,
that's what we'll roll with. But let's talk for a second about the format here, how this is all going to go down. Tasty Bacon, talk me through.
So this is the 4th week out of 4, and every Saturday it's 4 captains. These guys right next to us will be drafting a team of a pool of 24 All-Stars. Then they will play in a round-robin tournament tomorrow with the top 2 teams advancing to a best-of-3 final, and a new champion is crowned each week.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had 3 champions already crowned. We'll see who's going to be the one to step forward here today, but we can look at our ranked players here, starting all over. Going to be kicking things off right at the very top. He's got 2 stars, but it's important to mention Gatsby there at number 4. He's the only player that can win all 4 weeks of the Fantasy All-Stars.
Yeah, he's picked up a victory in the first 3, and so one of these 4 captains is going to have a chance to make that a clean sweep for Gatsby, the only player that has the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, clearly, he's at very least a good luck charm. He's been proving himself in previous weeks. We'll see if he can get that 4th win. So, gentlemen, as we head on towards the draft, any final words for your opponents as we step on in? I mean, Outplayed, I know you're a particularly outspoken player.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. I know I've got a lot of Blitz wins under my belt, so I'm going to see how that translates into ranking with 5v5 and playing against these guys. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm feeling confident going into week 4.
All right, well, before we can begin our draft, we have to explain how it's all going to be working. Over the course of today, these guys will be drafting out of a pool of 24 players. But Tasty Bacon, what on earth is a snake draft?
Yeah, so a snake draft is a format of draft where the final pick in one round will have the first pick in the next round. So it kind of bounces back and forth. These players will have 5 minutes to make their selection on each of these picks. And of course, if their time does expire, then they will be automatically given whoever is the top ranked player still left up on the board.
All right, we'll see who those are going to be as we move on forward. Now, Iraqi Zorro, last weekend on the show, our tribe captains weren't that friendly towards you. Is there anything you want to say in retort to that before we get this draft started?
No, I mean, honestly, I think they were just, as we probably will as well, is like you just pick the thing you think, or the players you think are going to play the best for you. You want to get the best team possible. So no hard feelings there. They went with their choices. 3 of them were wrong. Just T-Tigers was the person that made the right call. So I don't hold grudges.
All right, no grudges. That's good to hear.
It's kind of funny, though, that after how much they talked last week, only one of those captains ended up on this list to be playing in week number 4. So maybe afraid of a little bit of retribution coming their way.
Petrified, mortified.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We're going to be jumping into the draft in just a moment's time. First, a quick word from Razor. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the beautiful Las Vegas Strip. We are here from the PokerGo studio at the Aria Resort and Casino, and we're ready to jump on into our draft as we kick off week number 4 of the VPL Fantasy All-Stars. Now, Hammy, you are going to be on the clock first, so get glancing down at that list, start to consider your options. And while you do that, we're going to take a look at what is on the line here for these players, because Tasty Bacon, this is a winner-takes-all tournament. This is unforgiving.
Yeah, there is no room for error. Winner takes all. $2,000 is up for grabs, but it will only be going to the one team that is victorious at the end of the weekend. But of course, if you've been watching the VPL Fantasy All-Stars, you know it's not only about the $2,000 that these guys are playing for.
It's certainly not. You guys at home can win as well. You can watch and you can win. We're giving away a ton of stuff this weekend. We have been for the last 3 weeks. 25,000 ice, $500, and Vainglory swag galore, including a whole bunch of minion plushies and all sorts. Make sure that you're keeping your eyes on the Twitch chat, because we have a giveaway happening right now. We are going to be giving away one of those minion plushies. We're giving away some merch in the Twitch chat. So if you're not getting involved, why not? It takes you 0 effort and you could win prizes. It doesn't make any sense. But let's revisit the draft now, Hammy. Initial thoughts here. You've got first pick. It's a strong pick in a draft. How are you feeling about that position?
Yeah, first pick is a, maybe some might see it as an advantage. I think it's kind of, disadvantage, to be honest. Because Louis gets 2 picks, I get 1. I have to wait a long time, so might lose a lot of these top players. But I feel like I need to get like a jungler or a support, to go alongside me with in the mid lane. So yeah.
I'm actually pretty curious where you're gonna pick, because this is a very interesting list of players. Yeah, like you said.
Interesting.
We were talking about earlier. There aren't too many junglers, not too many roamers, at least on the top side of the list.
For sure.
So, I don't know. You got a tough choice to make there.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest.
All right. Well, while you peruse the list, we're going to talk a little bit about your history as a player. For any of you guys at home who don't know Hammy, who haven't really been active in the last year of Vainglory Esports, Hammy has had a pretty great year so far, Tasty Baker. First place at the VPL preseason, second place in WASG as well. He's been on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, definitely has been one of these players that sort of, you could watch him evolve throughout his career. Going back to last year in Challengers, was constantly one of the top teams in Challengers, but then finally broke through with Rogue and was able to start climbing the ranks to now being regarded as one of the top players in the game.
And also, Hammy, you've played a lot of lacrosse across your life. Say that 3 times. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so before I got into gaming a lot, I was big into sports. So I started playing lacrosse when I was, I think, about 12 years old, and that's basically what I made up. That's how I did everything with my day. From the beginning of my day to the end of my day, it had everything to do with lacrosse. Until I was a junior in high school. So yeah.
Yeah, so not just a whiz kid on the tablet. Also
yeah, for sure.
On the lacrosse field, awesome. Well, you've got about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So Gentlemen over on the right-hand side of the desk,
Yeah.
who are the guys that are really jumping out at you right now? Are there any names that maybe a little bit further down that you think people should keep an eye on?
Well, one thing I was saying off air is it's quite interesting to see Lulu Zio and Dienzio as well on, second place and third place, despite not having won any weekends. I know Dienzio has only played one weekend, but Lulu a little bit more than that, and he's had a couple of internet issues last time he was playing. So maybe he won't get prioritized as much. Maybe he will. If he does, will he work out for the captain that does actually pick him?
It's definitely a concern that you have to keep in mind. I mean, last week we heard players talking about how Pico fell asleep for one of his games and wasn't able to play. So there's always that concern of are these guys going to be ready? But that's also part of your guys' job as the team captain, is to whip them into shape overnight.
Absolutely. Well, Hammy, you have less than a minute on the clock. I'm judging by your smile when Iraqi was talking about Lulu. I think I know who you're going to pick, but please.
No, I'm actually gonna, like I said, I was gonna look for a supporter jungler, so I'm actually gonna pick up starting all over.
Okay, buddy.
All right. So that's going to be starting all over as a support or jungler.
I like it.
The first pick there. That means Shaded Talent, you're now going to be on the clock.
So begins.
Wait, what are you doing?
Totally another.
I think this is a really good pick for Hammy because he's also a mid laner, but he's been practicing other roles and starting has been carrying his teams these past few weeks. So taking away probably the top mid laner is really good for Hammy because he can flex to a different role. I think it's a great pick for Hammy.
Yeah.
I haven't really been able to carry the game, so I might just play a more irrelevant role. As I'm not a top tier player, like a lot of these guys. So I'm just gonna let starting
Just
kind
being
of
true to
take.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
Honest
starting
with
take the
yourself.
lead for my team. So yeah.
There's still a lot of options though. Kaz is I would say he's a top jungler right now. After that, there's Papa John for jungle. So we know the junglers ranking. There's Dienzio who still plays mid. And then even though Lulu, he did have disconnect, there's also someone else who's good in the bottom, Mixi. He's been doing really well these past couple weeks. So I think he's going to be contested too, Mixi. So I'll keep my eye on him as well.
I mean, Mixi has been absolutely kind of a rising star in the last couple of
He's a
weeks.
menace.
He's had multiple highlight clips as well. We've seen him doing 1v2s, 1v3s. He got a quadra kill last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like Mixi is the type of player that can fit into any team as well. You don't have to worry about who you're going to draft with him because of his personality and the way he plays. He can just fit into any team, which is a pretty valuable asset in this sort of draft or this sort of draft.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at starting all over stats as he comes on into this week. Bit of a solo queue hero. Big fan of the Maline. And, well, we
At least
know
used
this
to be.
guy. Roll mid.
Used to be a big fan of Maline. She got nerfed recently, and a lot of players kind of moved away from her. But definitely starting all over. He's won the last 2 weekends that we've had Fantasy All-Stars. Once as a captain, once on T-Tiger's squad. So again, definitely a very strong pick for Hammy to pick up. And like the other guys were saying, Hammy is a flexible player. He has not just a mid laner. He's been playing top, he's played bottom. So having that flexibility and being able to say, well, I've got a great mid laner and now a great other lane wherever he decides to play. That's a great advantage.
Supports.
Yeah, so Wim was starting actually because, like I said, I've been practicing a bunch of other roles. And as much as I read on starting, the last week or a couple weeks ago when I was on the desk, I actually, he's a super strong player. He makes a lot of plays, and he's also a team leader. So he's someone I can build the team around. And he's actually really consistent with making, the plays to win the games. And so, yeah, that's probably one of the reasons, that is the reason I picked him.
All right, well, he's definitely proven himself over the last couple of weeks, especially when he was here as a captain. I think he really kind of threw down the gauntlet. Now, Shaded, I want to talk about you as a captain as well a little bit. While you're glancing through the list, we'll talk about your history as a player, because you kind of had this huge upswing in the last sort of year or so. Prior to 5v5, you weren't a huge player within Vainglory, but more recently, similar to Hammy, you've had a ton of success.
Yeah, and a lot of it, you go back to Vision Gaming in 3v3. You guys were this big upstart team. Everyone was kind of keeping your eyes on you, pulling out these unconventional drafts. What was kind of the mindset behind that?
Really, we just played what was comfortable for us. We didn't really match. For teams, they've been playing longer in the pro scene. We didn't want to match them because they already locked down that meta. So we need something new to be able to beat them. Like, we don't want to match their playstyle. We want something that can beat them. So, and I think that helped us get through a lot of teams and challengers battles to like breaking through our way towards the VG8 scene. I think it had huge success. When we face the top teams are still good enough to just smack us anyways. But we did a lot of work with these unconventional drafts. So.
Yeah, you guys were really good back in the 3v3 scene, and you made it through the challenger. Honestly, you guys were very impressive, yeah.
Like the only team, and when it came to ranked queue, like the only team that can beat them were the Dons. We consistently smacked.
Yes, sir.
We consistently smacked them in, ranked
Yeah,
queue.
I remember in 3v3 ranked, it was Kaz was like playing Jungle Sky or something. I mean, he was like the mechanical god at the end of 3v3, and then I'd say he got even better at the start of 5v5. But yeah, Vision was definitely a really good team.
I agree.
All right, well, you've got less than a minute on the clock, Shaded Talent, so if you're ready for your first pick, please go ahead.
Yep, starting was a really good pick. So I know I need something to
What am I gonna pick?
control the game. I feel like I'm going to be the shot caller for my team anyways. That's what I want to put my role to. So I want something to centralize with me in the mid lane. So I'm going to go ahead and take Dienzio here.
All right, so Dienzio going to be the second lock-in of our draft. And I mean, Dienzio kind of proving himself somewhat last week. We already mentioned Lulu Ziu. He was on Dienzio's team last week and disconnected during one of the games. So
Yeah.
it feels like Dienzio maybe should have been in that final. He definitely, I think, was more impressive last week than a lot of people thought he would be coming on it.
Yeah, I think Dienzio held his ground very well against mid laners that have been grinding already. I think he did well. I wouldn't say he stood out significantly, like outplaying a lot of these mid laners, but I think he was very solid regardless. I think he's mechanically solid. And I think as long as, since I've been grinding too, I think I can control what we want to do as a team together, like me and him as a duo, to like help our side lanes, make sure we're just winning our lanes and maybe take control of the jungle. So I think I can work with Dienzio very well to try to gain leads that we need to win.
I mean, I think this is a pretty solid choice actually, because if you're going to play captain, you have a strong mid laner along your side. It's going to be a very strong team regardless. And you're right. I mean, he was going toe to toe with the best mid laners, despite not having played.
Yeah.
Iraqi, you are on the clock right now, so don't forget that. You need to be having a look at that list. But let's take a look at Dienzio's stats.
Yeah, Dienzio, again, hadn't played for quite some time, but just got back into the game. We talked to him last week. He said, like a few days before he was going to be on the desk, he started grinding and has been picking up a lot of, getting that experience back, shaking off the rust as well.
Yeah, and Dienzio actually had a few words for us as well coming on into this week's games, and specifically wanted to talk to Iraqi Zoro as well. Let's see what he had to say coming on in his Razor phone.
Yo, what's up? It's Dienzio. So we have an interesting week for week 4. We have Hammy, Shaded Talent, Iraqi Zoro, and Louis Vuitton Don. All amazing players. We kind of bashed on Iraqi a little bit, but I just want you to know, Iraqi, I know you haven't been playing too good, but that's why I'm here to make sure I can carry you. So don't be worried to pick me, and I'm just really excited to see this week out, and I hope I can smack some people.
All right, so Zio, Iraqi, what do you make of that? Because he's kind of saying that he needs to boost you to a victory.
I mean, now that he's going to be going up against me, I think this smack talk is only going to continue. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have the chance. I probably would have actually picked him, like had you gone with someone else like Lulugio. I think I would have had him on my team. He's a solid mid laner, overall very good at communication. So yeah, it should be interesting playing against him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting player to play against in all scenarios, I think it's fair to say. But Iraqi Zoro, you've been a player in Vainglory for years and years at this stage. You are absolutely one of the legends within Vainglory, winning VPL way back in 2015. Recently, first place in the Canadian qualifiers for WESG as well. But also, across your life, you've lived in 3 different continents and you speak 3 different languages. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Iraq, and then at the 9 years later, when I was 9 years old, I moved to Turkey, and then 9 years later, I moved to Canada. So yeah, it's 3 different continents technically, because Turkey is still, I think, in Asia.
Turkey's like half and half.
Half and half, yeah. Istanbul, half of it is in Europe. And then Canada when I moved out here. So yeah, and like learning Arabic, it was my, a native language, and then I learned Turkish in Turkey. And English is something that I just picked up along the way because I always was very interested in the Western culture and watched movies and, listened to music. So that's how I learned it.
I have to ask, which continent did your sense of style come from? Because
My sense of style.
always look amazing,
looking
always
good.
outdo everyone.
I don't know, maybe Turkey, maybe Europe, because that's kind of, where I was really shaped as a person, my teenage years in Turkey. So maybe that's where it came from.
Must be. Well, we're about ready for your pick if you're ready to lock in. I realize we've been distracting you for the last couple of minutes.
Right. I'm thinking right now, I even messaged him actually, I'm thinking of Lulu Gio because he's an incredibly talented player. He plays bot. I'm not sure, but I think he might be, recently he might have been playing a little bit of mid. So he can be a little bit flexible. I messaged him, hey, is your internet going to be good for this weekend? Because he had internet issues for last week. He's saying he can't really guarantee it. But I think I'm going to go with it regardless. He's an extremely good player, mechanically very gifted. We're going to have to work through the communication. And yeah, we'll see. We'll try to make it happen.
All right, so Lulu Ziu is going to be the 3rd pick of the draft that will be locked in for Iraqi Zorro. And that means now, Outplayed, you're going to be on the clock for the first time here in this draft. Let's take a moment, though, to talk about that Lulu Ziu pick, because as you rightly said, Zorro, he actually hasn't won a week yet. He's played in all 3 weeks. He's been a priority pick, but he's not been picked up that much. I mean, what is it that justifies that pick for you?
I think with what I'm thinking for my team, which I don't want to talk about too much just yet since we have a lot to go, he's going to fit in well. I just hope his internet doesn't crash or anything wonky like that happens. And yeah, as long as we can work through the communication, as long as he can talk back to us and we figure that out, I think we can have a really solid team between me, him, and the other players that we'll pick up.
I feel like those comments about like, oh, D'Enzio and Lulu, they're ranked pretty highly, but they haven't won. I think that was maybe trying to get the other guys to not pick them up because they've now both come off the board within the first 3 picks. So obviously, the ranking is where these guys are putting them. But you see Lulu Gio, you take a look at his solo queue rankings, and that is just an insane win rate, 91%. You look at everyone else, like pro players are sitting at like 60 and 70%. He's at 91. That is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's certainly a mechanical. I mean, Hammy, you picked him last time you were here in the studio. Do you think he's still worthwhile picking? Do you think the fact that he's not been able to get these wins is a significant factor?
Yeah, I mean, I think 100% he's still worth picking. Like everyone's saying, he's mechanically probably one of the best players in Vainglory right now. He, like in solo queue, obviously he's insane. He plays around himself and he just carries games. So I think, him getting picked this early is like no surprise to me or anybody here.
I mean, I agree. I agree completely. Lulu's certainly a powerhouse of a pick in those side lanes and just brings so much pressure to that lane. Now, Outplayed, you are on the clock right now. So while you glance through your list, I want to talk about your history as a player as well. And while you may not have quite as much competitive experience as some of the other players, you are the #1 Blitz player. I put in North America, but it's actually, I discovered the world.
The world, yes, the entire world. No, yeah, I've been blitzing pretty hard now for several months. It's pretty much the only thing I've been doing. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Been ranking with my brother, been ranking with Nazram and Max Green occasionally.
And you're also a competitive golfer, is that true?
Oh yeah, big time. Not anymore, but in high school, yeah, in high school, I played all 3 years. I definitely just love, playing with all my friends and playing with like my grandpa is a huge golfer. My dad.
Which one's your grandpa?
Not that big. little young, but yeah, it's been a thing that I've been doing for several years now. So.
Did you watch the golf match yesterday?
I was trying. I watched some of it, but I was pretty busy traveling and whatnot. But yeah, that's insane. The thing between Tiger and Phil, it was really cool.
Yeah, there's some great golf courses out here in Vegas. So hopefully, if you can find the time, hit up one of them and have some fun out on the links.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
we've got the top 3 players picked already. That's how we've started everything off right here. We can glance up at the top players available as well. You've got 2 picks in a row here outplayed, so you've got a little bit of breathing room. You can certainly kind of manipulate things to your will. Talk to me a little bit about Gatsby, because he's won 3 weeks.
Heck of a player is all I can say.
Why does that sound sarcastic?
Yeah, he has inexplicably won 3 weeks in a row. He was on my team with Rogue, but I mean, yeah, he apparently is a good luck charm for teams, or yeah, just a consistent top laner, I guess. Right. He killed me like 4 times with a gauntlet. There it is.
Wow,
Oh, look at that Gwen ult.
pretty bad, bro.
Okay. All right, buddy.
Okay. I don't know about that.
Arden is busted, okay? And it was a 1v1, but yeah, I'm not going to make excuses, but that's exactly what I'm going
Caught
to
you
do.
as you were trying to recall.
Yeah.
That's a feels bad, man. But yeah, certainly a powerful player. Didn't have many highlights in week number 3, but I think he's been consistent. I think that's the biggest strength that he's brought to the table. And
Yeah.
Hammy, I want to ask you about Gatsby, because behind the scenes, you've said some less than friendly things about him.
You know, honestly, it's just because I'm jealous of him as a player. I know he's far superior to me and everybody here, so I just say that to make myself feel better.
Okay,
I
that's
gotcha.
a reasonable strategy.
Outplayed, you have 25 seconds left on the clock. So if you
Running
know
out of
who your
time.
first pick is going to be.
It's a little tough, but I think I'm going to have to go with, Pico. Just look for a safe
Pico.
top laner.
I mean, nothing against Pekko. I think that's either way.
Yeah.
I think it's more about the fact that you picked a top laner first.
Yeah, I mean, I figure I have 2 picks here, so it doesn't really matter which of these. But I've got the other idea of who I want to pick. But yeah, I mean, it's a little tough now that Lulu, Zio, and Starden are all gone. I kind of wanted any one of those players because they're all really good in their own right. But yeah, I just know that Yugi loves to annoy people in top lane, so I figure that'll help me out.
Very tough player to
That
play
has been a theme so far in these drafts. Who gets picked early. Now, we're going to continue this draft in just a moment, but first, a quick word from Razor. Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, you guys at home can watch and win. We're giving away 25,000 ice every single weekend, $500, and a whole bunch of Vainglory swag. We already gave away some swag here today, and we're going to be doing another giveaway right now. There's 5,000 ice up for grabs, and all you have to do is participate in that Twitch chat. You can see the command that everybody is already spamming, I'm sure, so just get involved, and you at home can win some prizes for yourselves. 5,000 ice, certainly not something to sniff at. Now, Outplayed is currently on the clock perusing those picks. It is a snake draft, so he gets the 4th pick and the 5th pick of the draft. But while he considers his options, I'm going to pass it over to Tasty Bacon, who's hanging out in the Tri-Studio with Hammy.
All right, we're here with Hammy, and we're going to be just kind of talking over the first round of the draft just finished up. What are your initial thoughts on your first pick and everyone else's first pick? Anything that was surprising there?
I'm not surprised really at all. You know, obviously the top 3 picks got picked right away, so obviously those rankings were pretty good. Can't lie. So you know, with me picking up starting, so basically all the main carries in terms of the best mechanical players have already all been picked up. You know, you Zio, starting, and Lulu. I think I have an advantage going in. You know, I picked up probably the best mid laner, and mid laners seem to have the biggest impact when it comes to carries. So I think that gives me a big advantage, you know, into the first pick.
You've been playing mid lane, obviously, for VPL All-Stars, but as we talked about out there, you also have been playing a lot of other roles. So how much did that factor into your decision of knowing, okay, you know, if I take a mid laner, I can just flex to a different role. I can flex to bottom lane or top lane. And is that going to continue to impact your draft going forward?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, right now, I honestly don't know what role I'm going to play. So I'm just going to try to pick up as many strong players as I can in their respected roles, specifically probably mechanical players, you know, that can carry the game. So because I can pretty much flex to any role. So yeah, I mean, it's 100% going to play a big part in the draft.
Awesome, and so with now the first top laner coming off the board, Pico, he's been one of the most hotly contested top laners. Where do you feel like is the most important role after mid lane? Because a lot of people seem to put this emphasis on top lane, but then Lulu also is generally a bot laner. So obviously you said mid lane's most important. What's the next priority role for you?
I think probably the next priority role, it's honestly, I don't even know if there's really a set second best role, like biggest impact. I think it's based on the player. You know, what rotation she makes, his game knowledge in terms of, you know, the objectives, when to rotate, when to push his lane, etc. So I think it's more based on the player, not necessarily the role.
And so finally now, first pick has not been very successful thus far through VPL All-Stars. What's your plan to change that, to make that the first pick now have more impact?
I mean, the first pick, you know, a lot of people see it as a disadvantage. You know, it has been a disadvantage for people. But I think for me, especially picking up starting and being flexible like myself, I don't feel like any of the other captains in any other week have been as flexible as I am as a player. So I think that's going to be the big change between, you know, the first picks.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have time for right now because we still have Outplayed on the clock. So we're going to send it back over to Joe and the rest of the crew.
Thanks very much, guys. So we are still currently perusing Outplayed's second pick in a row now. But let's talk about pick number 4 for a second here, because you locked in Pekko. I think let's just stick with Pekko. Nobody knows whether it's Pekko or Pico. Let's stick with Pekko. Shaded Talent, you've played against him a lot in solo queue, obviously. Everyone describes him as an annoying player. Can you talk to me a little bit more about why that is?
He likes to push the lane and proxy the lane a lot. So like he'll push it, go around, catch the next wave coming, and then if anyone tries to collapse on him, he'll run through the mid turret and then go up to the top side. He's pretty much unchaseable, unkillable, and he pushes the waves. So he does whatever he wants and pretty much gets away with it 90% of the time.
All right, so just a difficult guy to keep on down. We actually have a replay of Pekko from last week, and this was mostly not his work. He was kind of just sweeping up kills, but he did get a beautiful triple.
Yeah, that cleaning up, sometimes being the cleanup crew is exactly what you need to be. And again, it was because he was split pushing. He had just split pushed a turret down and then comes and joins the fight to clean it up. So that's exactly what these guys were talking about, of how annoying it is to deal with.
Absolutely. Now, there is less than a minute left on the clock, so Outplayed. It's about time we get your pick locked in.
Okay, so because these guys were mentioning earlier that there's just a limited amount of junglers, and I know how important that role is in just, you know, helping the bottom laner and mid get ahead, I think I'm going to have to go with Kaz.
All right, so Kaz going to be locked in as the 5th pick of the draft, second one for Outplayed. And that means that Iraqi Zoro, you will now be on the clock once again. So consider your options as we do that. Tasty Bacon, talk to me a little bit about Kaz as a...
Yeah, so Kaz has actually been recently playing a lot of support. We saw him last week actually play support for his team, but he was known as a jungler and using very unconventional picks in the jungle. You know, in the preseason was playing this Crystal Kestrel out of the jungle that no one else was running and just absolutely dominating. So just the knowledge of when to kind of rotate and where to move about the map, like you said, has been very strong for him as an individual player.
I mean, what do you guys think of the fact that he's kind of transitioning roles somewhat between jungle and captain? Does that affect how prioritized he is today? Does that make him more valuable than maybe previously?
I mean, Kaz has been playing less Vainglory than he was before when he was playing jungle. So, I mean, he has the ability, he has the mechanics to pretty much play any role he wants. But right now, I think he's been playing Vainglory less, so he's kind of been transitioning into captain, which is less mechanically demanding. So that's kind of why I think he's favoring support.
I think he's captaining just to troll a little bit. Like I think he can easily play jungle, but I think he mainly did captain just to play against me because I'm pretty close with Kaz.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want to captain against you, so I think that's what he did. But
all right. Well, while you're on the clock, Areki, we actually have been tweeting out hashtag Ask the Pros. You guys at home can ask questions. We have one for you specifically, Iraqi Zorro, that was asking, what was your favorite moment back on Gangstar's Sirius? Do you think that your experience being on that team will give you an edge over some of the newer pros?
I think my experience, I'll answer the later part first, the latter part. My experience competing definitely gave me an edge over some pros while I was still competing last year. And especially going into 5v5 when the game became more strategy dependent and it became more strategy intensive. Yeah, I think that did give me an advantage. It always was one of my strengths anyway. I was never, I would say I was either just as good or a lot of players were better than me mechanically, but I had the game knowledge, I had the experience competing, and that's kind of what I had going on for me. And then what's my favorite moment? I don't know if I have a specific moment. I think the trips to Korea were probably just all of them, particularly maybe the second one where we were teaming up or living with Alliance, which was FlashX, Miko, and Shinkaigen, and there was also Infamous from SEA. We were all living in the same space, and we were all competing in the same tournament. So that was a very fun trip, and I would say that entire trip was probably my favorite thing from back then.
That's awesome. That's good to hear kind of the stories from the old days. I mean, on the other side of that coin, Outplayed, you're kind of going on from an opposite angle to Arakizora. Obviously, he's been playing for eons and eons. Do you feel like coming in without experience has any advantages of its own?
I think, I'm definitely coming in as the underdog, the rookie, because this is my first live event, so I'm just trying to soak it all in, just have fun. It's just good being out here, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a disadvantage towards me. I'm, pretty experienced in the game and have been playing a while, so I think I'll be able to, keep my cool and, perform well.
Yeah, we don't know what to expect from him.
I'm a wild card.
He's a wild card, though.
I could just int. I could just run it down there.
You're gonna be like, wait, I thought I had this talent, this bird. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I'll just play Anka every game like I do in Blitz.
I definitely think for the other captains, of the things that are not to be expected, they'd probably be happy with you inting down there. Of all the surprises you can give them, that's probably the kindest one. Let's take another look at our list of players as it stands right now, because so far we've been trending towards those top three, but then Pekko and Koz coming out at the bottom side of that column. We only have 3 left in the top 8. What do you make of this, Tasty Bacon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly surprised because you obviously, Pekko, a great top laner. Gaspy is the other, top tier top laner that's available there. I expect to see him get picked up in this rotation because, again, it just has that winning reputation. You want to get that onto you. But Arakizora, you got about 30 seconds left for your next pick.
Yeah.
What do you think?
This is a tough one because he picked up Koz, which was a great pick.
You have 20 seconds. If you don't pick, it'll default to the highest available player, which is Gaspy.
You don't want him.
He might end up being my pick anyway, but I think I'm actually going to go with Max Green here.
Max
boy.
Green.
So Max Green, we just came off of playing on the same team for WESG. So I have experience playing with him. He hasn't been playing Vainglory that much, but the fact that there aren't too many support players available, I mean, him and Lost Boitov, kind of the 2 best left. So that kind of where I came from, as well as like the other players. Mixi, great player, but I already have Lulu Gio.
Yeah.
Also myself, I do play bot from time to time, so it didn't make sense to go with Mixi and Gaspy just because he's a top laner. It's not as high of a priority for me. So I think Max Green right there just makes sense.
Certainly a solid pick. Max Green has always been known for kind of his mechanics back in the day and for how hard he was grinding back last year. Fantastic stats as well, as always. I mean, most of the pros here, I think we have one person on the entire list of players that doesn't have a positive win rate in solo queue. But Tasty Baker, talk to me a little bit about Max Green as a player.
Yeah, I mean, like Rexor was saying, he's known as this dominant captain when he was, especially in 3v3, world champion, etc. But like Rexor was also just saying, they played together in WESG, the Canadian team. They are the two of the players on the team that will be representing Canada. You can see it's Max Green and Lulu Jiu. Thus far for Iraqi Zoro. So he's got that bit of synergy, and that's something that all these captains across all the weeks of VPL Fantasy All-Stars have talked about, is trying to get that already existing synergy onto the teams that they draft. So Iraqi Zoro doing a good step in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, obviously, guys, Shade Talent, you are on the clock currently. Your time is ticking on down. So we talked a lot so far about captains and about jungles, and we've seen both Max Green and Cos locked in already, who both have a history of playing captain, with obviously Cos playing a lot of jungle as well. Who are the remaining picks that are becoming priority because that is a smaller pool available this week?
Depending on who you have already, definitely Gaspy. Mixi still open. Mixi definitely priority bottom lane. You also have Tivo. On his registration, he said top. I don't know what's up with that. PvP put bottom, so definitely top 3 bottom right there. And then top lanes, you have Gaspy, Neon. I'm gonna leave it at that for top lane. for now, okay, no hard feelings. And then jungle, next best, Lovell and Papa John. That I see off the bat. I made a drawing for my girlfriend. It's not good, but if you can see it, can they zoom in on this? It's a cookie with a bunch of hearts. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see it.
Oh no.
But love you, Cookie.
Oh god.
Haters gonna hate.
Don't believe in true love, is that what you're saying?
Oh.
So yeah.
Yikes.
It worked.
Yeah, if you still need a captain, though, I'm not really sure. Lost Boy Toph, I think that was a good pickup for Iraqi, what he wanted. He's his teammate. He probably gonna put him captain.
Max Green?
Yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know if you will.
Maybe.
But
Maybe I'll throw him in the jungle and
Maybe.
I'll play sub. I'll
Yeah.
have another player play for me.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Can you be a sub, or does the captain have to play?
You
I'm kidding, I
can
will
sub
probably be
yourself
playing,
out.
Nobody's done it yet.
That's toxic. Yeah, I have some options. I gotta think about it.
Now, obviously, you're talking about captains there. You are a captain, so you've got that role locked
I'm
down,
set.
I'd assume. But with now captain mid lane, that's one lane effectively. So you still have everything else open to you. So where's your next kind of priority?
I think the next priority is probably gonna go towards bottom.
You played with PvP Warrior. That was the team you guys had. You, Cos, and PvP Warrior, wasn't it, back in the day in 3v3?
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
PP hasn't been playing as much lately, but he's definitely a good pick. He just hasn't been playing as much lately. I think if he played like tonight and then a little bit tomorrow, I think he's good. Maybe he'll be good. I don't know. He just hasn't been seen a lot anywhere, so he's kind of like off the map right now. But
He did sign up though, so
He did sign
must
up.
be willing- yeah.
He's
very true.
hungry to
Well-
prove himself.
very hungry.
You have about a minute on the clock, so
Okay.
if you're ready to lock in your next pick, you can do so.
I'm gonna go with someone who's already proven themselves in the past weeks. Take up Mixi as my bottom laner.
Makes sense.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Mixi going to be the second lock-in here for Shaded Talent to go alongside Dienzio. So Mixi, I mean, you're absolutely right, has really been proving himself in the last few weeks. And multiple times here in the Fantasy All-Stars, he's made highlight reel plays on that kinetic. I mean, does someone being a playmaker like that influence your decision to pick someone up?
Someone say that one more time.
Does the fact that Mixi's been a playmaker recently, like looking for 1v2s, trying to make things happen, does that make him more valuable as a pick?
Of course, I think that's how you get noticed. I think that's how you differentiate who's okay, who's good. So he's shown that he's been good in VPL All-Star. He definitely stands out at like a skill level, maybe between the rest. If Tivo's playing top now, I think he just has like more experience and like a level above anyone else.
I would say in general, you just want someone who can clutch, not choke. So yeah, definitely make him a better player.
It's kind of funny that you say that. 'Cause obviously, we take a look at this replay. This was the quadra kill on Kinetic. But Mixi previously had this reputation for not being the one that was going to be clutching. He started off as one of the best laners in the world, and then kind of fell off a bit in 2016, late 2016, early 2017. But it's now had this big resurgence through these fantasy all-star matchups. So it's one of these players that's been really fun to watch him kind of
that hair on
grow back to where the level he used to be at
really
at the start of Vainglory competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Zoro, you were playing against him way back in the day, right? You were playing with him, against him. Talk to me about him as a player. Like, does it feel like he's back on form like he used to be?
I mean, I haven't played against him competitively recently, so I can't really say that much, but it definitely seems to be the case from just watching him play. Even like in 2016 and 2017, when most people would describe it as he fell off, I would say he was kind of getting unlucky with his teams that he was going with. So I think he just continued being consistent, went under the radar for a while, and now in this format, as I was saying, just because he can fit in with pretty much any team really well, he's showing up again.
All right, we'll see if he is going to be able to show up. Now, Hammy, you're on the clock right now, 3 minutes remaining. You're now feeling what it's like to be in that first pick seat. You've done it from one of the other seats. What's the difference like right now between the pick priorities?
I mean, I think now being here, I think first pick's horrible. There's actually like all the good players, they're all gone, to be honest.
Starting.
Ninja Bro, hello?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have top tier players like Ninja Bro and Rock Bomber that are still available. So, I don't know. I definitely preferred being third over first, but I'm not too worried because, I do have starting, so.
Let's talk about Gatsby for a second here, because I feel like you guys are kind of memeing him here. He has won 3 times. That is undeniable statistical truth.
Yeah, he's won 3 times and he's the best player.
But
I don't think you're going to get a serious answer out of this one.
Why is he not a priority, considering the fact
Just because he's top laner?
No, he's definitely a priority. He's the best player.
Thank you so much.
So we've got one legit. I reckon Zero's kind of touching on is the fact that he's top lane.
I got you.
Not too many captains have prioritized top laners. Outplayed obviously did with the Pico pick, but even you go to previous weeks, top lane was kind of like, we'll leave top lane for later, and once we have 1 or 2 picks, everyone really wants to get the mid lane and the bottom lane squared away before they go for the top laner. But I think when it comes to top laners, he's definitely in that conversation with, I think Pico and Gatsby are just the 2 best top laners that are available.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing happened with Zelsia last week as well. He was number 4. His teammates were on the desk, and he still didn't get picked in the 3rd or 4th rotation. So maybe it's just the curse of the top lane. Now, Hammy, you have 1 minute and 5 seconds on the clock. Are you ready for your second pick?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. So I think I need to go with a bot laner support. So I'm going to go with someone that's pretty good. So I'm just going to pick Gatsby.
Okay.
That hurt.
I feel like this got against everything that you've been saying. Oh, maybe it wasn't sarcasm.
No, I was 100% serious. I've never meant something more.
Did Starting want you to pick Gatsby too?
Hammy.
I'm sure Starting
No.
did. No? Okay, buddy.
No, Starting did want me to pick Gatsby.
Yeah, he wants Gatsby to win all 4 weeks, so
Yeah.
he's going to try to carry.
For sure.
All right, well, I'm hoping Gatsby can get the quad win. That would be something to behold, but we'll have to wait and see. We're going to jump into a quick break. You're going to be on the clock again in just a second, Hammy, but first, a quick word from Razor. right, welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, you guys at home can watch and win the whole time that the stream is on today and tomorrow. We're giving away 25,000 ice, $500, and a whole bunch of Vainglory swag as well. We've been giving it away the last 3 weekends of action, and we're going to continue to give it away here today. And right now, we have a $100 gift card being given away in the Twitch chat right now. If you are watching on Twitch and you're not joining these giveaways, you're an idiot. Get involved, win yourself some prizes. Now, Hammy is still on the clock currently. He's perusing these picks. He got that 8th pick of the draft. You're now on the 9th as well. While you take a look at the list, though, we're going to pass it over to Tasty Bacon, who's going to be standing by with Outplayed for a quick interview.
All right, I'm now here with Outplayed, a.k.a. Louis Vuitton Don. And I want to start off by asking actually something that's not related to the draft thus far. But we talked about the fact that you are the top-ranked Blitz player in the world.
Yeah.
What made you decide to just grind Blitz and become the best Blitz player in the world?
Well, I just got some talents, just spent some money on some talents, just felt like splurging, and kind of coincidentally got some really good ones. Like I didn't know how good they actually were. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun to play Blitz with my brother and my friends because the state of 5v5 I haven't liked as much recently. So I still enjoy playing the game. So yeah, blitzing is it's perfect for me.
All right, and now that's another thing is your brother. Obviously, it's someone that you have played with in Blitz, but you've also played with him competitively.
Yeah.
So what is it like to be playing a game at a competitive level with a sibling?
It's super fun. We get along really well for the most part. He thinks he's a little better than he is, but no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's a great player, so it's
Is that why you maintain that like 3-point lead over him in the Blitz just to keep him in his place?
Just a little bit higher. No, yeah, it's definitely just a lot of fun. It's a great way to pass the time.
All right, and now as far as this draft goes, you've got your first 2 picks out of the way. The first 2 rounds are done. How are you feeling about your team compared to everyone else's now that we've got most of a starting roster set up for all of you?
So I think Hammy's team is like the one that scares me the most because Hammy, Gaspy, and Starting are all like, I feel like they can just carry a game on their own. Just in mid, I think it'll be mid, bot, and top. So, I mean, that's kind of what scares me. But as far as my team, I know Kaz is one of the, best junglers, one of the top priority picks in this draft. And Pekko everyone knows Pekko, so he's annoying. So I just need to look to try to pick up a strong mid laner here. And there aren't that many left. So, I mean, I'm a little concerned, but we'll make it work.
All right, and now, obviously, you're one of the newer players to the pro scene, but you've been involved in Vainglory for a long time. What was that like when you first told family members, hey, this is something I want to be like, I actually want to try and go competitive with? What was that like in terms of like just the personal side of it?
Yeah, so my parents know that me and my brother have played this game for a while, and yeah, we just started, I guess, steadily getting better. We both were on Rogue for a little bit, but then that sort of fizzled out. But then, yeah, when I got the invitation to this, I was thrilled. It's a lot of fun. It's good to be here with all these players. They're all great people. So, yeah, I mean, my family, they're happy for me. I think they're watching me at home or something. Hopefully, I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely just been a good time all around.
All right. Well, we do have the 3rd round of the draft ready to go, and so we're going to send it back over to Joe and the rest of the team.
Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, we are still here at the desk. We're on round 3 of the draft already. It is flying by here today. Hammy is going to be on the clock. Now, one of your teammates, as they were locked in just now, actually put in Twitch chat, easy win. What do you make of that? Gaspy coming in confident.
Yeah, Gaspy is the best player, has the most knowledge, so obviously he's correct in saying that we're going to win. So I can't disagree with him. It's just big facts.
What makes him the best player?
He's obviously won 3 weeks of Fantasy All-Stars. I mean, you can't argue with that. That's like...
Would he clap you in any role?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Not even debatable. Like, it's just...
So if Gaspy were to ask to play mid for you guys, you'd say yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
anything he wants. I'll give him anything he wants, honestly.
Whatever you want.
All right, that's good to hear. You've got less than a minute on the clock, Hammy, so if you're ready to lock in your 3rd pick, feel free.
Yeah, so like 100%, I have to pick a support here, so I'm actually going to take Papa John for jungle.
Stop doing that.
All right,
Can you
Papa
guys help me
John.
out? I
that,
couldn't
bro.
see it.
Papa John.
Am I blind?
At the very bottom.
Down at the bottom left, Papa John.
Okay. Thank you.
There he is. So that is going to be the third pick for Hammy locked on in, Papa John.
Man.
Talk to me about why he's a good captain.
Roster players.
You know, Papa John has obviously proven himself on the Ferox roster as the captain, making great plays. You know, he is a great YouTube channel. So yeah, you know, it's awesome. He actually has vlogs. You should probably go subscribe to him right now. PBJ vlogs on YouTube. There's a quick little.
Follow me on Twitter too. You're at it.
All right, well, Shaden, you are on the clock. I'm not even sure what to respond to. I
don't know what this is on.
Let's take a look at Papa John's stats, because at least they'll tell me the truth. And they'll tell me what role he actually wants to play. It's typically jungle, not captain, for any of you guys that missed the sarcasm. The only player, though, to have Yates as his most played hero in solo queue, which you got to respect the grind. He's not been out that long.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously one of the best support Yateses in the game. Super consistent, obviously, got that 60% win rate. So you're almost mathematically certain to win.
But I'm the best, right? Because I pulled you twice. One on the turret for first blood.
Anyways, like I was saying, that I don't know who this is, but you know, Yates, that's his pick. You know, he's just a beast with it.
All right, let's go to the other side of the table. So, Araki, you've been listening to Hammy with the rest of us for the last couple of minutes. What do you make of the picks for Gatsby and Papa John?
What roles are they going to play? Is that what you're asking?
What do you
in
think
general?
of his decision?
I think they're really good picks. I think his draft so far as a team is pretty good. I mean, he has starting all over in mid and then Gatsby in top. Two really solid players, proven in the previous weekends. So I'm curious where he's going to play. I'm kind of leaning towards him playing jungle more than bot, but he could also play bot. I don't really know.
I'm pretty sure he's going to play bottom.
You think so? So, I mean, if he does that.
Obviously uneducated.
Right, I mean, I don't know why I said that. Actually, he has Papa John over there. So Papa John's definitely going to play jungle.
If he plays captain, I'm going to smack him. So.
You're right. You're better.
So yeah. Nah, his team is pretty solid. Him and Shaded, I would say so far, are probably the two best teams right now. Rosters wise.
Even over your own.
So far, yeah, I would say so. I would say so.
Helping to motivate the team there.
I think that's the first time that one of the captains has been like, yeah, no, my team's not the best one.
Trash.
It's kind of funny because like Arakizora is bringing almost a different level of analysis, and I think part of that goes back to the fact that something we haven't actually talked about is Arakizora used to be on the analyst desk with us, and it's kind of funny like because after everyone's pick, he's like breaking it down just like we would. It's like he's just taking over for us. It's actually been pretty nice, being like, okay, let Arakizora break this one down instead. But yeah, do you think that kind of having that experience of being on the analyst desk and getting to see things from that perspective?
I was hoping so. I was hoping it would help me a lot here. I was hoping it would give me an advantage. But honestly, if there were, just because of the roster players, and I think this, it's just fantastic. But if there were more, top tier players competitively, it would have been more balanced out because we would have all had really good players. But it's not exactly that way. So we're making our choices. We're gonna play with our the players we're picking. So we're gonna have to make the best out of it. And I am happy with my team. Don't get me wrong, because Max Rain, I played with him a lot. Lulugio is a great bot laner, as I said. So I was hoping it would give me a great a huge edge just having that experience. But it's not exactly working out that way.
Well, we're only 2 picks in for you, so
yeah.
There is still time. There is still time.
Besides, I have the best player ever, which is myself on the team. So
Okay, buddy.
All right.
so I got that going.
I could see you're looking deeply at the list there, Shader. We could take a bit of a recap of the guys that you've locked in so far. Dienzio and Mixi. What roles? I'm assuming you're going to put yourself in that captain role. I'm assuming these guys are going to be mid and bottom.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So what are you looking towards next?
I'm thinking more towards. I don't know if I want to take a jungle or top, because that's all I need right now. I'm not really sure which one's priority for me. There's a lot of options left, and I feel like a lot of these options are around the same, level, I guess. So I'm thinking maybe I just prioritize the best top laner, and then I can just do like a blind pick of the last for jungle.
Blind.
In a way, you're like, this one will be good. You know, like which one? But
Now, with the first top 8 already gone, the next 3 are all players that you are either, were very recently on the team with, but so
Hang on,
just that.
before this question, you got 25 seconds, so let's just get this locked in before we go delving.
okay, I'm gonna just stick with it. Best top laner. I'm gonna go with Neon Fire here.
All right, Neon Fire going to be locked in. That's your 3rd pick there,
Boy.
which means now Araki Zoro, you're going
Makes
to
it
be
so
on the
tough.
clock once
This makes
again.
it so tough.
You're in trouble.
I am. And you're after me, so.
He's on your tail, dude.
So, Megan, you were just asking about Neon.
Yeah, I was asking, with TiVo, PvP Warrior, Neon Fire, you have experience with playing with all of them. Does that influence kind of where you want to go, having that experience?
What they selected, it's kind of like if you like, PvP, just he hasn't been around a lot lately, so I don't really know where he's at. I'm friends with him, of course, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to win. So if I don't know where their skill level is at, it's a risk taking. So I'm gonna avoid taking risk. Do solid picks. Tiva, I'm not really sure. He highlighted top, and there's no way he's had time to practice top. So Neon's been playing top for a while, so I just had to pick Neon here.
Makes a lot of sense, and obviously Neon Fire, we've got some stats for him as well. You can see what he's been up to in the ranked queues, and has been playing a bit of Vox, but obviously that currently is generally a mid laner pick. So obviously, has in competitive events, has been playing a few different heroes across the board.
Yeah, and obviously that's his most played in solo queue as well. So we can see when he was playing Ardent last weekend, had a phenomenal gauntlet during this team fight. And, it's moments like that that can separate a win from a loss. And in such a short round robin, that can really be the difference maker for the entire tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you pick up 2 wins in the round robin, and you virtually have guaranteed yourself a spot in the finals. So there's not much room for error. So being able to make those big plays that can change the tide of a game is crucial.
Yeah, it certainly is. I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, Araki Zoro, you've got 3 minutes left on the clock right now.
Yeah.
We've already gone through our top 8 players. They have already been selected, and now we're starting to get to a point where some of these names, especially lower down the list, are less known players. We've got some guys from the very top of solo queue stepping on in this week. Is there a conversation about going for one of these players that maybe is less known but could have a huge impact on the game just from that solo queue style of play?
Not for me, not too much. The only player is Level because he's kind of the next best jungler on the list, if you really look at it. So for me, it's either between him right now or going for someone like TiVo. TiVo, just because he has listed himself as a top laner, it's not something that he's been playing traditionally, but or has played traditionally. But if he's confident in it, then you gotta give him some credit. You gotta trust him in that sense. So yeah, I'm thinking between Level and TiVo right now.
All right,
So now-
deciding.
You've played recently, have been playing a bit of the jungle role as well, but you've historically are known as a laner. So does that kind of factor in? Are you planning on playing a specific role and drafting around that, or are you just kind of drafting and then going to fill yourself into whatever role is needed?
Kind of what I was going with is like I'm gonna try to get the best players available and then put myself into the roster just to fill out because I played mid for a lot of 5v5s, especially on Slimy Salamanders. Bot is something that I'm very confident playing as well because of the hero pool. So Vanilla, Kinetic, Vox, all these heroes that I've played and just really excel at, and it's in the sense that I can start step very well, all of that mechanic stuff. Yeah. And then the jungle is something that I played in WESG. But at this point, because Lulagio is going to be my bot laner, most likely, and I have max screen already, I'm probably going to put myself in the mid. I'm looking at the clock. I have a little bit over a minute. Yeah, I'm probably going to play mid myself and going to try to go for a jungler and a top laner. It is tough. I mean, when you look at TiVo, he's definitely going to be the best top laner, but at the same time, it's because he just recently moved to the top lane. How much better is he really going to be over the reminder players? Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to go with Level here to try and have him in the jungle.
All right, so third pick there for Iraqi Zoro is going to be Level, stepping on forward. So one of the boys from Hammers Esports getting drafted on in. So talk to me about Level as a jungler then, you guys. What is it that makes him stand out from the other junglers? What makes him one of these, top 3, top 4?
The only thing that makes him stand out for me is because he's competed before on a challenger level, I believe. I think he recently might have competed with Hammers. I'm not too sure, but I have a friend who has played with him before, and he thinks he's a good player. Besides that, it's just because I don't really know much about the other players.
I mean, I think Level stands out because he's 6'8". He's a he is a human giant. I mean, just having him on the team is just like mentally, I'm intimidated just thinking about him.
That's good for me.
So I mean, Iraqi's roster right now, looking pretty good, outside of.
Don't hold back. What's your honest opinion?
You're easily top 4. Without a doubt. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table yourself. I want to I think this is a point where you're making a name, because a lot of people were giving you smack, or just you weren't picked last week. So I'm personally interested to see what you bring.
I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't say it's a case where I agree with you. I hope I can bring, especially on the front of shot calling and just leading the team. Hopefully, we'll be able to make it work.
All right. Well, height isn't listed, but the rest of his stats are going to be here for Level in awe of the absolute unit. But Glaive, most played hero in solo queue, not something that's really been picked pretty much at all during the VPL Fantasy All-Stars. Could that be a pocket pick that comes out, or is that just...
It's something that we played in WESG, actually, in Canada, given that we didn't have the best competition. But
anything's viable, too.
It's kind of a good pick. It's a little bit hidden, but not really anymore since the meta has developed building Crucible into Fountain for jungle.
All right, so Outplayed, you are on the clock, obviously. Now, you've had to wait a little bit, and it's kind of the blessing and the curse of being on the end of the draft. So what have you been kind of thinking about while it's gone down the line and back?
Well, I get 2 picks here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, all right, that is a bit of a relief.
Weight off your mind.
It's a little bit tough at this point. I know, like Iraqi was mentioning, there's not an enormous amount of players with lots of past competitive experience, so I just have to go with what I think is going to be the strongest for my team. As far as the roles I need left, I need a mid laner and I need a support. So yeah, I'm looking at.
I would say you're in the most rough spot because
Hammer's complaining about.
I think he made himself in a rough spot by picking top and jungle.
Yeah. What do you think I should have picked?
Mid and bot.
Yeah,
but
it's
obvious mid laners were left.
Play bot. You're gonna play bot yourself.
Yeah,
not a good idea.
Not a good.
If I was in your shoes, I would bench myself. Just gonna jump.
All right, buddy.
Jeez.
You're in a rough spot.
Let's have a bit of a recap of this roster as well. We've got Pekko and Cars locked on in. Obviously, you said you're going to send yourself to that bottom lane. So if you do focus on the mid lane,
what's funny?
Why was that?
I'm just thinking about his bot lane. It must be so demoralizing right now.
Who's available right now of potential mid laners?
I know Rock Bomber plays at mid Varia, right? Rock Bomber plays mid Varia. I think he's done that in the past couple of weeks.
I think Toph's been playing a bunch of mid as well.
Yeah, I know Toph also plays mid. I think he listed himself as a roam also. So.
Tivo was playing mid before deciding to move to top. Maybe you could convince him to go back to mid.
That's true, yeah.
That could be an option.
Yeah. But he wants to play. He listed himself as top, but I don't know.
I mean, you're the captain.
Yeah,
you get to
you
choose where they play.
Actually, I shouldn't have told you that. I want to
whip
pick
him
him
into
now. I
shape.
shouldn't have told you that.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Stop talking, Iraqi.
Well, you have less than a minute, so you can lock in your first of 2 picks if you're ready.
Don't give your opponents ideas.
I'm gonna go with Toph, just for the support, for the roam position.
All right, lost by Toph.
Yeah, you don't have a
Locked
support.
in. So that's the third pick there for Outplayed. So in a moment, you're going to be back on the clock once again. So keep looking at that list. Before we do jump on back into that list, though, we're going to have a quick word from Razor. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with round 4 of the draft in just a moment. All right, we're heading into round 4 of the draft, but you guys at home can still watch and win the whole time. You can watch and win tomorrow as well. There's 25,000 ice every weekend being given away, $500 and a bunch of Vainglory merch as well. And we're actually going to be giving away some of that Vainglory merch right now. So head over to that Twitch chat if you are watching. Make sure to get involved in the competitions. We're giving away some, I think, some tote bags, some T-shirts, there's Minion plushies, all kinds of good stuff. So make sure you're getting involved in these competitions. Now, Outplayed is currently still on the clock. He's the one that's perusing that list. But I'm going to pass it over to Tasty Baker once again, who's standing by in the Tri-Studio with Shaded Talent.
All right, we're here with Shaded Talent, and now we just heard you talking about Outplayed, how he should have drafted a mid laner and a bot laner as his first picks. We've had a few captains on as captains, and they haven't really fared that well. Gabe Vizzle, obviously the most kind of notorious one of that. Do you think that actually does give you a disadvantage because you now don't have a mid or a bot laner as your kind of default pick of yourself?
No, I think I ended up with a successful draft. I also have a different playstyle than Gabe. I think he excels in supporting really good players, regardless. Like his blocks is probably the best in the game, right? I feel like as a mechanical player, I'm more sweaty than him. I'm looking for more plays. I think he's very good at supporting the top tier players, whereas I take captain and I make it a top tier role.
All right, so a lot of confidence then coming in with you and now paired up with Dienzio. There's kind of been this rivalry with Vision and Tribe and TSM and Tribe. Does that kind of factor into anything, or are you guys just able to move past that and just play together?
Yeah, no, I don't think it has any impact on it. I'm hoping me and Dienzio can just run it through and just take all the wins.
All right, cool. So I want to go back to actually something that we saw on your stat board at the very start of the show. We didn't really get to touch on it. You're fluent in sign language. So how did that come about?
So my parents are deaf. When I grew up, I used sign. I was the youngest of 4, so sometimes my older siblings would interpret a little bit for me until I started learning more sign because I was the youngest. I would rely on them sometimes. So I wasn't as fluent as my other siblings, but just as time goes on, you just sign more, you get more fluent. So I'm fluent now.
And as you can see on your screen, a picture from when you were a little bit younger with your mother there. And so what was that like when you decided to become a pro player in Vainglory? Were they supportive immediately? Did it take some time? Like, how has that been for you?
They were kind of clueless that I was like they just viewed me as playing games all day, really. So I would go to I lived in the country when I was playing Vainglory. I lived in the country, very bad internet in my house. So I would go to like this local it was like a store, like they sold like subs and just like chips, a deli type thing. And I would use their Wi-Fi, and I would be there in the morning until they closed. And I was only playing Vainglory at the store, and I made a name for myself while just playing at a store, not even my own internet.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty crazy. We'll see if you can have success on the Rise tomorrow. But for now, we're going to send it back over to Joe to get the next round of the draft underway.
Very much Bacon. Yet we are back here at the studio, and right now there's 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock for Outplayed. So starting to run out of time on this pick. Let's take a look at our top remaining players as you peruse this list. You've got TiVo and PvP Warrior still there. You've got less than a minute Outplayed. Where are you thinking on this one?
I know that Rock Bomber has experience playing with Yugi, so I think I'm most likely going to be going for the Rock Bomber to play the mid, and yeah, that would round out the team. So yeah, I'm thinking probably Rock Bomber over TiVo, just because I know that he has experience with the other players.
So going for that synergy, that's going to be Rock Bomber taken off the board there, locked in for your 4th pick, which starts off our 4th round here in the draft. That is going to be a full roster now. You just have a substitute position remaining, which means Iraqi Zoro, you're going to be on the clock once again. Now, Rock Bomber, we talked about him a little bit already. Somewhat of a one-trick, loves the Varya, also loves the Rona as well, known for that pickup as well. Is it a risk going for someone that has a small hero pool like that?
I think partially. I think if they were to ban one of his one tricks, we could be in a little bit of trouble. But I trust him as a player. I've known him for a while. I know he's mechanically skilled. So I think if they do end up like banning the Varian draft or something, we may be able to get a stronger draft because of it. So I feel okay picking Rock Bomber here.
Well, fun fact, his most played hero in solo queue is actually Samuel, not Varya or Ren. So maybe there's both this player that meets the eye.
Yeah, I mean, well, he also, if you go back to the preseason, he was playing top lane instead of mid lane, and was playing a lot of the Kensei as well. But the one thing about Rock Bomber that kind of stood out in the preseason, the Summer Open, is he's a player that could struggle very heavily early on and then come back into the late game. Is that something that you took into account, or are you guys going to be kind of knowing that is a potential weakness?
I think we just are going to try to look to play towards the later stages of the game, and I needed that strong mid laner to carry me through that. So yeah, definitely, I think Rock Bomber can do that.
All right. Well, while Iraqi is on the clock perusing the options available, we actually spoke to one of the players that is new to the list this weekend, Nico Fury, coming on into this week, on why she thought she should be a pick coming on into the draft.
Hi everyone, some of you may know me from the fan art that I draw, but I have also played Vainglory for a while now, so I feel like I'm pretty decent at it. But I'd be super, super excited if I was drafted into playing, and who knows, I might even draw a free commission of one of your favorite characters.
Well, Nico Fury, known in the community for her fan art, now trying to step in as a competitive player as well. She's VG Silver, so definitely has been proving herself in solo queue. But you heard at the end of that video saying that there's maybe a free commission for a captain that picks her. Do we take bribes here at the Fantasy All-Stars?
110%. Yeah.
So it's like a free drawing, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. She didn't specify super detail.
I mean, I think that's something you can take into account. I've actually heard, from Chuck saying that she's actually a super good support. So, that's actually might be a pick that I might consider.
Well, Gaspy is saying in Twitch chat, please pick her. So
hey, you never know, I really need a bot laner, so she might fill that role.
And actually, one of the interesting things about Nico Fury is if you go on and look at the stats on VG Pro, you go to the leaderboards, she has the highest KDA of any player in the top 50 in all of North America. So definitely, even though it's not a player that a lot of people will know from competitive, there's definitely some strengths there, at least in the solo queue. And that's, Lulu Zhu is one of the top players because of his solo queue performances. So maybe there is definitely something there.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, like everyone on this list has proven themselves at least in solo queue. Everyone is, at least vainglorious here. So we could take a look at her stats as well. She is a captain main, loves that Arden. Only ranked 22 on the list, but 2,700 elo is certainly not something to sniff at there. So, and that 5.38 KDA. Definitely a terrifying statistic to go up against. You do see often quite high KDA numbers for the captains.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we'll see if any of you guys do opt to go for that one. But you have just about a minute and 20 seconds on the clock.
Oh, yeah. Before I wreck you, are you planning to put Max top, or are you going to keep him support?
None of your business. You about to pick. What do you mean? None of your business.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's my I'm going to catch you off guard. So what I'm thinking right now, TiVo is still open, and I mean, pretty much. I'm looking for a top laner because I'm gonna play Max Green and support. That's what we played. That's what we played in WSG. I played mid. He played support. So we kind of have good synergy there already. I was just getting shaded. Don't. But yeah,
I just feel like that. No,
I'm thinking TiVo right now. So
well, you have less than a minute left, so you can lock in if you're ready.
It's either him or B17. The other reason why I would consider B17 is because I believe he was on Hammers as well, level. So they must have some experience playing together there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna lock in TiVo and have him do his thing in the top lane.
All right, so TiVo going to be the fourth lock in there for Iraqi Zoro, which means we are halfway through round 4 now in the draft. That means Shaded Talent, you're going to be on the clock once again. So start considering your options. Is that going to hurt having TiVo taken off the list?
No, because I'm just looking for a jungler. So Yeah, just a jungle. He doesn't play jungle. The only thing I can do is do takeaway picks from Hammy, take away like a captain or something. Cause he's not gonna play captain.
We got a vast array of quality captains up for grabs.
That's what I'm thinking. Is there is a selection of captains.
He took that.
See Ninja Bro right here, right there.
Ninja Bro's pretty. You might have to take him, because for these big plays I'm about to do.
Oh God, no.
I mean, at the end of the day, while people like Ninja Bro may not have made their names just yet, like opportunities
One
like
of these
this
days,
are
Ninja
how
Bro's
they
just
could
gonna
make them.
obliterate you, bro.
I don't care.
Oh, okay, buddy.
I've already been obliterated so many times with all these second places that at this point, I'm mentally prepared for any defeat.
Ninja Bro's gonna be the next Chuck. Just wait.
That's not a good thing, but anyways, back to you, Bacon.
It's not even your pick. We're focusing on Shaded here right now with where you're thinking. And, you know, obviously, one of the things that becomes a trend as we get later in the stage of the draft is, you know, how much you know about the solo queue players. And obviously, you know, not really any of the big name junglers left. Do you know any of these players as junglers? And is that, you know, or do you just kind of flying by the seat of your pants here?
That's what I was kind of saying. I could do a blind pick, close my eyes, pick a number, type like that, because I don't really know. I really don't know. That's all I can say. I really don't know. Most of these aren't really junglers anymore. They're just top, mid, captain. So do I pick a top and just put him in the jungle? Do I like to try to take away something from Hammy, or do I just be like, okay, they're all equal in skill. Don't take a captain. Take someone mechanically good, like a mid laner, and then put him in the jungle. Maybe mechanically he's good in the jungle. I really don't know.
Wait, so why are you targeting me though?
I think for me, your rosters stacks up
The best?
Probably the best.
the best against me, or because
I mean, we have Gatsby, so you could.
true, Gatsby's a god. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that.
So you're gonna ruin him. You should ruin him.
There's no, you can't ruin a team when I have Gatsby already.
Well,
It's like
that's not the problem.
It's already set in
I
stone.
was thinking about ruining him, but I can't. There's too many captains left. There's too many captains of the same level left. There's
He's
Lost
already
Boy,
ruined.
Deceived,
Captain's not even.
and then if
No,
people
no,
are-
I pick Lost Boy. Calm down.
Yeah, Lost Boy's
Oh,
off the
Lost Boy-
table, buddy.
okay, can
Off
you
the
just wait?
table.
Well, you still have Deceived, and I would put Deceived on the same level as Lost Boy. No offense, Lost Boy. But
Oh shoot! Yo, shots fired,
Lost
dude.
Boy, I don't think that.
Oh,
I don't
man.
think that. Jeez.
and then you said your team already wants Nico Fury. There's scats we were saying that, and the thing. So it doesn't even matter if I take Deceived because they want someone else already.
I mean, we need a bot laner.
You're gonna bot. Stop it.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I've been grinding top lane.
Okay, so who are you gonna pick for bottom then? Tell me who we got. Ninja Bro?
We got Bidrak. You got Fez. PvP Warrior.
Oh, PvP Warrior, that's true.
Yeah, I have a lot of options. Unlike
So
you.
you're saying you'd rather play.
You know the last person that tried to target someone lost? Remember Gabe? He tried to target.
Gabe.
Picking you.
Gabe is not me, okay? Gabe is not me.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying facts
Gabe
right now,
is
dog.
not me.
What are you trying to say?
It's getting heated over on that side of the table.
They're just going at it.
I think he's just getting a little bit emotional, but I'm perfectly calm.
No, I'm good. I'm good. How much
Anyways,
time is left?
You got about a minute and a half, but
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to continue. You've got. We're about ready for your pick if you're ready to lock in Shaded.
So, big moves. I'm going for that commission. I'm going to take Nico Fury.
Okay.
I'm going to take commission.
Fury.
And they'll take away what his team wants. So I already know what to expect from the seed one. From what I heard, Nico Fury could be super good as captain. Take away the unexpected. So
Right.
I already know what to expect from the seed one. If you want to see one, go ahead. I know what to expect. I know nothing about Nico Fury. So I think it's a safe play to do, and I get something out of it, right?
cool. Anyways, my pick is next.
All right, so Nico Fury going to be locked in. That means, Hammy, you're on the clock once again. We can have another look over at Nico Fury's
phone call?
stats
Is
as
that
well,
iPhone?
because as you mentioned earlier, Tasty Bacon, statistically in solo queue, a very strong player, very high KDA.
yeah, very high KDA. Again, 2,700 ELO is one of the higher numbers in there as well. I believe it's actually top 20 in all of North America for the individual ELO ranking, but that KDA is through the roof as well when you factor in even further games than what are shown on the the basic VG Pro stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously a community artist as well.
Yeah.
So Shaded looking for a commission there, hoping to grab.
I'll take any art.
It's
Honestly.
reasonable. That's what she said. That's what she said in her phone
Wow.
in as well. You
That's
can see
some
some
good
of
art.
her art being displayed on the screen
Like,
there. as
especially
well.
if she can sign it, like, put like Cookie's name on it, I'll give that right to Cookie.
Okay.
Ultimate gift.
Okay, back to this
Don't hate
again.
the
That's
love.
adorable.
Don't hate the
That's
love.
adorable. Well, so you guys, what do you make of this Nico Fury pick then? Do you agree with that as a pick? Is that a correct reason to pick up a player?
I honestly don't think it matters what Shaded picks at this point. He could have picked, Gatsby. If there was 2 Gatsbys, he could have taken him. He would have lost. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Shaded's
okay.
roster is just, not looking too hot.
Why is that?
Obviously, if you look at Neon Fire, he's probably top 10 top laner in North America. That's pushing it. So I think he's gonna get exploited by my next. I need to pick a bot laner, so he's gonna get exploited by
You're
the bot
playing
laner.
bottom, Hemi. Stop it. You are playing bottom.
It's
That's
my
a-
fault. I started that.
I'm almost certain that I'm possibly not gonna play bottom.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the sub.
Yeah. How do you know that? You're not on my level, buddy.
Well, you've been flaming a lot today, Hammy. Are you doing okay? Is everything okay?
I'm a
Marco?
bit emotional. I haven't gone this long without a hot pocket in a while.
Okay.
So I'm kind of, on edge right now. Not gonna lie.
Right. All right. Well, while you glance over the list, I'm going to check in at this side of the table once again. Outplayed. How are you feeling about how the draft's coming out so far? We're almost done with. Talk me through these rosters. Who do you think are the favorites right now?
Oh boy. Well, I think I'm definitely the favorite. After that, I would say Hammy. Hammy, I was saying in my interview, Hammy started in Gatsby. I feel like they can probably carry a game in their own right because they're all mid, top, and bot. Yeah, I think I'll stack up to him, but Hammy is definitely the best team right now.
I'm actually liking how this draft turned out because, sure, you have the big names, you have the starting, you got
Gatsby.
DNZO, you got Miko, you got Neon Fire, and, they have the big name players, but he doesn't have a very solid support. He's not going to be able to get a very solid support just off of who are left in the roster, and then he doesn't have a very solid jungler. And yeah, they're not the most important roles, but they're still pretty important. Jungler dictates rotations, and the support is super important for lane trading in mid. If you don't have a good support, you don't really get to control that lane very well, especially if you don't have a good jungler. So I'm feeling pretty confident with my roster now. Because I think I can go toe-to-toe with DNZO and start and go all over in mid lane as well. So I think I'm going to hold that down. And overall, I think I'm feeling pretty confident with my roster.
I actually agree. I think Iraqi's probably the second best team. I think there's a pretty large gap between first and second. I'm going to be honest, but he's probably second. I think yeah, we don't have a good support necessarily yet, but starting doesn't really need a support. I mean, he can 1v2 basically all these,
We'll see about
these
that.
people, and it's going to be pretty easy.
I'm going to smack him in lane. You'll see.
Keep telling yourself that. I don't know. I don't know about that one. To be honest.
Was that you're going to smack starting in
I'm
lane?
going to smack starting in lane.
That's child abuse.
Yeah.
Someone clip
Jeez.
Chill, dog.
Well, there is less than a minute on the clock, Abby. So segueing as hard as I can away from that, what are you going to lock in?
Well, I do need a bot laner, so I'm actually going to go Deceived One
Okay.
as my pick.
Who is that, sorry?
Yeah.
Deceived One,
Deceived One.
bottom right.
I mean, Deceived one's bottom.
There was
We're whispering to
oodles of
yourself with that.
confidence coming out of that pick.
Yeah, really solid player.
All right, so your captain going to be locked on in. You will be on the clock again shortly.
Yes.
Apparently, Nico Fury has actually tweeted out a picture of a love heart as well. So you've
Nice.
made Nico Fury's day picking her up Shaded. We're going to be jumping into round 5 of the draft in just a moment's time. First, let's have a quick word from Razor. All right, welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, you guys at home can watch and win all throughout the weekend. This is the last weekend of the Fantasy All-Stars, so these are going to be your last opportunities. 25,000 ice, $500, and some Vainglory swag every single weekend, and we're already starting to get into those final collections of prizes to give away. But right now, we're giving away $100 in the Twitch chat. Literally, $100 up for grabs. Just get in chat and you can win yourself some cash. So make sure that you guys are getting involved at home. Now, Hammy is on the clock once again as we kick off round number 5 of our draft. But before we get on into all the details of the draft, I'm going to pass it over back to Tasty Bacon, who's standing by with Iraqi Zorro in the Tri-Studio.
All right, we're here with Iraqi Zorro, and of course, you've been around Vainglory for longer than anyone else out in that room. What is your experience of, how much does that kind of give you an edge when you are competing, of knowing that you have that level of experience?
I mean, as we were talking earlier, I do think it gives an advantage, but that advantage kind of dwindles away when you look at the highest level players, because all of them do understand the game very well. All of them, have a decent amount of knowledge. Yeah, you'll have a little bit more. It might come in clutch, but at the same time, it's kind of balanced out when you factor in their mechanical play as well.
And now, one of the things, last week and even into this week, a lot of guys kind of give you a hard time. A lot of it's because you weren't really playing as much. Does that kind of give you a little bit of extra motivation to want to play better and want to actually, take them down in games?
With how it's shaping up to be, and it seems like I'm most likely to be playing against the NZO in mid, it kind of does, but at the same time, it's fair enough because I haven't been playing a ton of Vainglory this year. I practiced a lot for WESG, but that was also a month ago. I mean, I'm ready and I'm confident for this weekend, but at the same time, it's like whenever they talk about, last weekend they were talking about who to pick for their teams. I think it made sense. They picked the best options that were available. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to play against the NZO.
All right. Now, one other thing I want to ask you about is, you've played all over the world. You've played in, with various levels of ping. Playing in 1 year, you played for a European team while still living here in North America. So what is that like? How much of an adjustment is it really, like going from the East Coast to the West Coast, or different continents and things like that, and just having that different disparity in the pings and things like that?
It's pretty big, honestly. It's super big. When you play from the east coast of Canada, whether you're playing on North America or whether you're playing on the European server, you always have about 100 ms ping, so it's always kind of really difficult to get in the hang of, but you get used to it. And then when you kind of travel and you play on a much better ping, it is better, but you take away what you're really used to. So it is pretty big, but at the same time, that's one of the things that I was excited about coming out here, is like I'm going to be close to the servers. I don't have that high ping, and I can actually, play what I want.
Yeah, I can say as someone who's originally from Connecticut and then moved out here, it is a very nice change. So that's all for this interview. We have one last round of the draft to go. Send it back over to Joe to get round number 5 kicked off.
Thanks very much, Tasty Bacon. So good to get a little bit of insight there behind the scenes. We're still on Hammy's final pick, though. We're on round 5 of the draft as of right now. So let's have a bit of a recap of your roster so far, Hammy. Are you happy with how this has turned out?
Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I got starting in Gassy, which was kind of the cornerstone players I wanted to build, like my team around. And then we have Papa John, who's just plays like annoying heroes. So, and we got Deceived, he's just deceived. So, our roster, I like my roster a lot.
Yeah. And we can take a look at some of the highlights from starting all over in recent weeks as well. Last weekend, obviously, had a fantastic weekend on the Lorelei. His stuns were absolutely on point. And I think a key thing to watch from this one was the synergy that the whole Team T Tigers roster had. The starting was a real cornerstone of that. So I'd imagine you're hoping to replicate that kind of success. But you do have less than a minute on the clock. So if you're ready to lock in your final pick of the draft, please be my guest.
Whew. I think I'm going to go with...
It's kind of tough because
you your teammates right now?
I am. We don't really know too much about the remaining players. So it's like, who really actually brings a lot of value to the team as a sub? It's kind of tough to figure out.
Okay, we're taking Fez.
Oh, bro.
Fez. All right.
That's who you want?
I was gonna pick Fez, yeah.
Oh man, Lou
Fez
is
a
getting
good player.
destroyed right now.
Yo, oh my God.
Did it to yourself.
Not gonna lie, I like your draft, Louis. It's making me feel a lot better about my position.
All right, Shaded, you're going to be on the clock right now. Hammy, talk to me about this Fez pick, because you fervently looked at your phone. Is this your teammates telling you to lock in Fez?
Actually, no one really said anything because no one would know what to pick, who to pick, because the options aren't. We're not looking at the best array of players. I'm gonna be honest. No shade, but just facts. So I just kind of, Fez looks like a cool name, so I picked it. That's the thought process going into that.
You can see the stats there on your screen, but the key thing here is solo queue rating of 2,800. The only player in this pool that has a higher solo queue rating is Lulu Jiu.
Yeah.
So Fez is actually very much up there in terms of, again, the individual kind of individual play of being able to constantly find himself win. You see 80% win rate. Once again, right on the heels of Lulu Jiu, and everyone kind of gives Lulu Jiu all this praise for being this incredibly mechanical, skilled player. But there are other people like on his heels that you just don't give any credit to. So what's kind of the difference between someone like Lulu Jiu and someone like Fez?
Well, the difference is Lulu has about 4 accounts that are almost gold, and Fez has 1. So
that you
I know.
know of.
No, well, I think I'd notice a player that was top tier. And I haven't, but like I said, Lulu has like two or three accounts that are like 5 points away from gold outside of his main. So that's, Lulu puts in a lot more time in comparison to Fez, but Fez is still solid. So yeah.
Is Fez? There was a play. He's not Fizz, is he? F-I-Z-Z?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Different play. All right, let's have a bit of a reset here and talk about your roster so far, Shaded Talent, because you're coming up to your final pick. Talk me through this lineup, because actually, Neko Fury, obviously, you just locked her in. She was putting like a love heart in the Twitch chat. She also just won our $100 giveaway. So she's having a fantastic She got drafted, she won a giveaway. But talk me through this roster that you've got.
So I think I have a solid roster except for jungle. And I think that as at first, like, I'm gonna just compare to Hammy because I think we're all under consensus Hammy has the best team.
I don't know about that anymore, but sure, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna stack up against Hammy's team. I think he's solid in every role. My problem is a weak jungler. I think we stack up very well everywhere but jungle. So I'm trying to brainstorm things of what I can do. Like, I'm looking at these picks. Like, do I take someone who?
Paulie said he was a jungler, I believe, right?
I'm not familiar with Paulie. I don't really like. I'd rather take someone I know. So like, I'm looking at like number 10, number 16. I know they're mechanically sweaty, so I could test them in the jungle, see how they're doing. Or since I already have a captain, I could play jungle myself. And since it's like a Crucible Fountain meta, anyways in the jungle, I can play those heroes decently. So I could flex through the jungle fairly easily.
You could.
I could play like Tony, Flicker, Anara, all of those things I could play decently, like better.
Is Lucius a consideration? He's still on the board right now. Has won previously, has competitive experience too.
I would put PvP and Rock Bomber over Lucius.
Rock Bomber's
Rock Bomber is locked in
once
already.
again, bro.
Wait, say it. Oops.
I've played Rock Bomber.
I think I crossed out the wrong name.
Literally taking
He's
all
acting
mine.
as if you literally don't exist right now.
What's player non-existent?
Okay, buddy.
All right, well, you've got a minute and 5 seconds on the clock. So we're getting to the time where you need to finish out this roster.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead, take out someone who was a risk before, I felt like. So there's not really any good jungle options left. I'm going to go ahead with my boy PvP Warrior, see what he does in the jungle. If not, I can... Someone, I'm sorry I broke you guys' pen, but somebody's, or I can flex the jungle, we'll see.
All right, PvP Warrior locked in there for Shaded. That is going to be his finished roster, which means Iraqi Zora, you're going to be on the clock.
I'm
once
sad about
more.
that, actually, because I was going to pick up PvP Warrior because Lulu's making me monk ass in the chat right now. He's like, put me in sub because I don't know how my internet will turn out to be. So I was gonna pick up PvP Warrior and have him as a sub bot laner just in case. So that's no longer an option.
That's an unfortunate situation. Lulu was the one that disconnected last week for Dienzio as well. Does that, I mean, that's got to affect everything coming into tomorrow now. Surely your draft plan must have changed pretty dramatically.
With what? With what he just said?
Like before Lulu, before you
right.
knew Lulu was maybe going to have issues tomorrow.
Yeah, now I kind of really know he is. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just really trying to find a bot laner that I can have him as a sub just in case he does have issues tomorrow. But I mean, the left options are not too good. But yeah, we'll have to make something work here.
Well, I mean, you've said yourself that you could flex to the bottom lane as well. So we'll first take a quick look at PvP Warrior and what he's been doing in solo queue. Of course, the Sky is what is top played hero. Words are hard in solo queue, but he's made a name for kind of really unconventional picks, especially if you go back to 3v3.
Yeah.
I mean, his Gwen in 5v5 was certainly a strong
His Gwen, yeah, he was known for it.
And Idris. He played Gwen and Idris.
His Idris was actually pretty good. His weapon Idris, he was pretty good with it.
Yeah.
Pretty good with the weapon Idris.
Just keep him off the Vox. I remembers in the summer open.
The Cav solo killed him like 5 times.
That was something else. That Catherine is.
That's
Catherine's a strong solo laner. All right, go.
I don't. Whatever makes you feel better, dog. I don't know.
I'm fine. I don't mind either way. All right, let's talk about your roster so far, Reki Zoro.
Yeah.
You've actually got some individual pretty strong picks. People like Lulu Xiu, people like Max Green.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's coming together as a
I think it really came together. I think if Lulu Xiu doesn't have any issues tomorrow, I think it really came together really well because Lulu Xiu on level, I think they're going to be able to play well together. Like all level will have to do is go for a tanky captain, which is the meta right now. Try to babysit Lulu Xiu as much as possible, get him ahead, and rotate, do his jungle thing. And then I have myself and Max Green in mid, which I think we're going to stack up against. Again, I'm going to ignore you here, Louis, because your roster is going to stack up against Dienzio and starting all over his lanes pretty well. And then I think Tivo will do just fine on his own in top lane. And then hopefully with my, me as a captain, I'll bring the team together with shot calls and drafts and whatnot.
All right.
So I think that's what I think of my roster so far.
Outplayed. What do you say?
I cannot
Just being
stand
casually tossed aside.
I'm confident in my team.
I'm looking at his roster. It's not that bad. Like I'm looking at like Pico,
He has Kaz.
Rock Bomber, Rock Bomber, like 1 trick, 2 trick maybe.
Kaz will have to carry so hard.
Well, bro, and he has Yugi, who's probably going to AFK. That's a possibility.
I think the names on your team are fine. The problem is I think they're tricks, so they're bannable. Like this isn't like competitive play, like where we need to focus.
Who other than Rock Bomber?
Pico.
Yeah.
No, Pico plays so many things in top. Pico plays like Yates.
He plays like
Reza.
he definitely he plays Reza and he plays what else?
And I think either way, those two are
Exactly.
the players that are going to have to carry your team through. And if we target ban them, then you're in deep trouble. I don't think it's possible to target ban both.
Wait, let's not forget about that. Louis is going to be in bot lane, so he's going to be getting.
That's the biggest.
The bot lane is supposed to be the winning lane, and so if you have 2 losing lanes,
if I got Kaz helping me, we'll be smooth sailing. We'll be good.
Kaz doesn't make you better. You're only as good as you are.
I'll be good.
The team's only as strong as the weakest link, so.
That is.
You guys are tearing me apart.
Some motivational phrases. I'll be tweeting those out later on the picture of a sunset.
Hey, we'll
I was not expecting this. I was not expecting all of us to trash talk Louis, but
How the cookie crumbles. Well, you've got less than 50 seconds, Araki.
Yeah.
You're ready to lock in.
so I think I'm gonna lock in Lucius here because he plays both mid and bot. He was a decent player a while back when he was playing a lot of ranked. So I kind of recognize the name. He has mid and bot, so like if I need to flex myself to bot, if Lulu has issues, I'll have him play mid. If I need him to sub, so basically it gives me options. So I'm gonna go with Lucius here.
All right, Lucius locked in. That is going to round out Araki Zoro's roster, which means outplayed. The final pick of the entire draft is on your shoulders.
Wow.
Your time
Tough
starts
options
now.
here. You have so many of them, and they're all amazing.
So
Yeah.
now that we're starting to get to this point, I mean, is the Lucius pick down to uncertainty with Luluziu, like if he can't play, if you need a replacement for Bot, Lucius kind of fills in. Is that the thought process?
Yeah,
there?
I mean, like I was gonna go with a sub that gives another sort of value to the team. Like you guys have talked about in previous weeks, someone who can help with either the morale of the team, how they're feeling, or with the draft, or strategy. But since I need someone who can actually sub in if necessary, that's what I'm going for. So that's kind of where Lucius comes in.
I think, I think if, if I was in Iraqi shoes,
Yeah.
Tivo was actually a bot laner just until West G. So he was, the second best bot laner.
That's true.
And so you could,
I could have went for B17 and have him top. That's true, yeah.
Yep. So,
I'm trying to respect Tivo's wishes. He wants to top, I'll let him top.
Okay.
But, yeah. I mean, if you're so confident, just beat me tomorrow.
Beat him,
I'm not confident at all.
All right, you can see the remaining players in B17 final phase. Polyphemus, Bidrak, and Ninja Bro are the 5 that you can select between. The other 4 that aren't picked here today will be bonus substitutes for all players in case one of your players and a sub can't make it to the game somehow. I hope for all of your sakes that does not come to pass, but definitely 3.5 minutes left on the clock, so you've got some time.
I certainly have some time to think about it. Jeez.
Not all the time in the world will you be prepared to make this pick.
All right, well, while you consider that, we do have another question from Twitter, so we're going to go with that hashtag #AskThePros. And this one, you already asked this Outplayed in your little interview, but were there any friends and family that actively encouraged or discouraged you from playing professional Vainglory? We'll pass this to Shaded Talent.
For me, it was just kind of like, it wasn't really recognized. Like I just did my own thing, and then I got to a point where it was, oh, I can make money from this, and that's why I took it. It wasn't like I was really encouraged by my family or discouraged. If anything, maybe on like the discouragement, like why you playing time on games, all this time, but nothing major. Just it is what it is, I guess.
All right, what about you, Hammy?
So it's kind of a combination of both. So when I was coming out of high school, so I needed to get a job. So I was turning 18. So, I needed to get a job, as my parents said. I needed to earn money, start paying some rent. So, at the time, I was like, I'm not trying to work at McDonald's or something. And at the I was like, I want to say I was like POA during that summer in Vainglory. And so my parents kind of gave me a time, to pursue Vainglory. They're like, if you, do this if you can get to this level, make money in 3 months, you can do it. But if you're not making money, you got to quit. So, I wouldn't say that's discouraging. They gave me an opportunity.
That's actually pretty fair.
Yeah.
That's
and
fair.
so I ended up, signing with Rogue about 2 months later. And, I signed with Rogue, started making money, paying rent, and then they were all, they're my biggest fans now, so.
Love to see it.
Yep.
That's a lot better than, some other parents who just.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful.
Yeah, I mean, I love that question because you get a very wide variety of answers to that one. It's always an interesting one.
I'm kind of similar to Shaded. I've always been very independent, so my family never really had a say in it. Well, I guess not really, kind of a little bit similar. Yeah, they never had a say. And then when I started traveling, they were like, yeah, cool, you're doing that now. But before that, like, they never really got a say in what I can do it or not. It's just something I wanted to do and pursued it.
But once it all worked out, they're supportive.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Okay. Well, you have less than a minute on the clock, Outplayed, which means we're about ready for the final pick of the entire draft.
Okay, I think to round off my team, I'm going to go with Polyphemus. I don't really know who he is,
him?
but I don't know. I want him more than the other 4. I'll leave it at that.
You should have picked the final phase for the final phase of the draft.
I mean, he's
And
got
so
a
you would have had a
rehearsed
previous
that.
winner.
Yeah, final phase is that good luck charm for Team Old School, first week.
I'm good.
All right. Well, Polyphemus played on Vegetable Juice in the Summer Open. They came top 8, I think. So.
Wait, he what?
You might be able to sub you. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he'll sub. Better than me.
I'm actually curious to see how good your bottom lane is. Maybe you're actually super
I am
good.
as well. I have not seen it in a minute. So. We'll see how I stack up.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to pick this up again in a minute. That is going to be our draft completed. We're going to break it down in just a minute. First, a quick word from Razor. All right, all day long, we've been giving away prizes for you guys at home. All you have to do is watch, and you can win. We've been giving away 25,000 ice every single weekend, $500 every weekend, and Vainglory merch as well. And we're starting to run out. This is the last weekend. You've got one more giveaway happening right now, and then you got to tune in tomorrow to get some more prizes coming your way. We're giving away 5,000 ice right this second in the Twitch chat. So if you want some more skins, if you want some more good stuff, if you want a hat, make sure to head on into the Twitch chat right now. But we have our draft completed at this stage, Showman, which means we now kind of know where we stand. You guys, how are you feeling off the back of this draft? Because, in fact, let's talk about the matches tomorrow first. It's going to be starting things off with Team Hammy.
Yes, let's do it.
Good luck. That's all I gotta say. My God.
I'm so excited to get to see these teams go up against each other. And then, of course, we're then going to have Shaded versus Iraqi Zoro. And so we'll have to wait a little bit to get that Iraqi Zoro versus Dienzio match right off the bat. Second game of the day. We'll be getting that one underway. So it'll definitely be a lot of fun when we do get onto Sovereign's Rise tomorrow.
I mean, looking at the teams now, if I'm gonna rank them, I'm gonna say mine's first, my team's first, second Shaded, Iraqi, and yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So like, I'd say we play outplayed teams first, and I think if we're to lose that game, we might as well forfeit. Like, that's just a sign that we should all probably quit playing Vainglory. Like,
Hey,
You can't just let him.
we'll wait for tomorrow, all right?
Is that the best you can say?
I'm confident, okay?
are you?
Come on, you can-
Are you confident?
I am.
Look me in the eyes and tell me you're confident.
confident.
Yeah, you don't look very confident. I'm gonna be honest. Kind of shaking in your boots there, buddy.
We'll make it work. We will make it work.
Okay, let's move down the line. Shaded, how are you feeling about the rosters?
Like I said, the only problem with my roster is the jungle, like how we're going to work with the jungle. But other than that, there's no worries. Yeah, it's just the jungle. That's it. So if we can, if we get like, if I'm comfortable in the jungle, if PP's comfortable in the jungle, I would say my team stacks up very well against Sammy's team. If we have someone comfortable in the jungle, if not, it's gonna like put like a handicap on us, which will be a problem. But as long as we draft right, I think it's gonna be a lot with the draft. If we just get a solid draft, we're gonna be able to anyone could take a game off each other.
Except for outplayed. It doesn't matter what draft. It doesn't matter what draft he gets.
Well, the only thing I think it does matter still, but I just don't know if anyone on his team is gonna be able to think about the draft for all roles. I don't really know if anyone on your team is gonna be good at drafting. Maybe the only one, maybe Yugi, might be good at drafting, but. He's going to know his own role, not really mid-lane matchups or anything
I think
else.
Louis' team could turn out to be quite
I think it could be
surprising, just because
decent,
he has
yeah.
Kaz and Pekka. Like, they can definitely run with a game. If they get a lead, they can run with a game. But I agree with this statement. I think the draft is going to have to do a lot with who wins tomorrow, especially with the three of us. But yeah, besides that, I would say, depending on how PvP turns out in the jungle for Shaded and how Deceive turns out in captain role for Hammy, I would either put myself in first or second or third, depending on how those picks turn out. If they pretty much just fall off and not really show up, I think I can be in first place. But otherwise, their rosters are really strong.
I think Hammy has less of a risk just because he is starting in mid. I think if he has a subpar realm,
The thing is, starting his early game is his worst part of his gameplay. By
But
far.
who's going to punish him on it?
I'm gonna punish him on that.
Will you?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, good to hear. All right, outplayed. They've basically taken it in turns to talk smack.
We are.
Give me some strong words of confidence.
We're
for
the
your
underdogs.
teammates, for the
Okay,
viewers.
we're definitely the underdogs. I'm not going to deny that. But I think, as the others were saying, if we get a strong draft, I think a lot of it is dependent on Rock Bomber getting a good pick in mid, because I'm really confident in Pekka's top. Yeah, Pekka's top and me and Kaz in the bot lane. So I think it'll just come down to the draft, end of the day. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind going in as the underdog. We'll change everybody's minds tomorrow, I guess. But yeah.
All right, well, speaking of tomorrow, let's revisit what is on the line right now. As going to be jumping into the games tomorrow morning, and there is $2,000 up for grabs Tasty Bacon, and it's winner takes all.
Yeah, that's the key. Winner takes all. So doesn't matter if you're second, third, fourth. That's basically all the same. The only thing that matters is finishing in first place so that you can get some of that prize money. But, I mean, looking at those rosters, I think it is anyone's game, even Outplayed Squad. Like, there are definitely ways where he could end up picking up victories. You know, no one has a really strong jungler except Outplayed. So it's kind of one of those situations where you can use your strengths to kind of counter out your opponent's weaknesses.
All right, any guarantees tomorrow? Anyone you're touting as a favorite here, Vacant?
I'm not going to give any guarantees. No guarantees, no sure
come
things.
on.
I do think I would say that Hammy's squad is probably the favorite, just because of having very strong both in the side lanes. But no, I definitely think this is one that could go either way.
All right, either of the four ways. Well, let's see. Any last thoughts before we close out the show for today, gentlemen? Hammy?
I don't know, just good luck to everybody, you know, except for Louis.
I'm gonna kill Hammy tomorrow. I'm telling the entire team, just kill Hammy. I don't care if we win. When we hit first Chuck, that's gonna be Hammy.
Okay, you know.
All right, on that note, we're going to call it there. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow when our games will be kicking off midday Pacific time. That's going to be it from us, and we will see you there for the action for week 4 of the VPL Fantasy All-Stars.